The organisers of a pro-Scottish independence march in Glasgow could be ordered to change the endpoint of their procession to prevent substantial city centre disruption. Councillors will meet on Thursday to decide whether to impose the condition on the Scottish independence movement's march, planned for Saturday, November 2. The group has yet to agree to Glasgow City Council's alternative finishing point, which would see marchers disperse into Shuttle Street rather than George Square. A separate event has already been booked for George Square on the same day. The pro-independence group has offered to finish in John Street, but the council believes this could cause significant disruption. Police Scotland has raised concerns over policing a parade with an unclear plan. Given the uncertainty in the number of participants taking part in the procession, the dispersal point suggested by the organiser could lead to substantial city centre disruption, a council report states. It is therefore suggested the dispersal point be Shuttle Street to minimise the disruption and detrimental impact the procession could have on the city centre. Such an approach would recognise the organisers' rights of freedom of assembly but balance it against the disruption to the life of the community and the vicinity of the procession. The Scottish independence movement was recently launched by former members of All Under One Banner, AUOB, including Mani Singh. He was reported to the Procurator Fiscal for failing to comply with conditions imposed on an OR procession in Glasgow in May. Organisers ignored a council order to change the start time of that march, which had been made due to fears for public safety and possible disruption to the community. Mr. Singh was sacked by ORB in July, a decision he disputed. A report to the Public Processions Committee reveals council officers have raised serious concerns over the organisers' complete disregard of any health and safety legislation and environmental health controls during the previous march. The authority was notified about the new organisation's intention to march last month, stating the reason for the procession, starting at Kelvin Way, was to make a serious impact and be noticed. At a meeting, the organiser refused to agree to change the start time for the November 2 procession from 1 p.m. to 11:30 a.m. However, he has since wrote to the council to confirm an 11:30 start. Organisers had originally expected 3,000 marchers but are now planning for between 500 and 1,000. They said they would liaise with Police Scotland if participant numbers increase. The council's preferred route is Kelvin Way, Sauchiehall Street, Blitheswood Street, Blitheswood Square, West George Street, Nelson Mandela Place, West George Street, George Square, George Street, and Shuttle Street. For more on this story, visit the news article link.